Today I will tell you about the biggest scam in the whole fetish community, because a store out there take pictures and design from another store, treated Google so you ended up in his store, and you should be lucky if you get what you paid for. As someone new out there, I have had seriously troubles by getting the order I have paid for at Sven in Berlin, an order that have been delayed over 1 year, and the payback, I have get 115 euro back, and I paid 251.90 euro. So, for a few weeks ago, I placed a negative feedback on Google, and something suspicious happened. After I have placed a negative feedback, some positive feedback suddenly get made by new Google accounts. So I started investigate what is the chance for this here can happen, and see who is those person that are behind those profile, track back what's happened. Really fast I could see this here is one big scam. I print out all those fake Google feedback, put them on my wall and put a red string behind them so you can see the trace that I want to explain for you right now. Here we have the map of the fake feedback to find on Google. In the middle you have SAR Berlin, Sven. Over here we have a private detective bureau. Here we have a lawyer. And over here we have Diction. And now you maybe wonder, why do you named Diction? Because the owner of SAR Berlin, Sven, and the owner of Diction have been partner for many years ago. So, of course, there are fight. And what I found out was, when I give a negative feedback to Sven, a new Google profile was made to make a good feedback to Sven's rubber store. Meanwhile, the same account gave a negative feedback at Diction. He wants to let the customer think he is the best. He is the bad guy at Diction. So therefore, he gave Diction a low feedback, 1-2 stars. Also, when you search for rubber in Berlin, the person with better feedback will be placed higher than those with low feedback. We can see here, this one, actually Sven Appelt rubber. This one, Sven Appelt. So Sven have made 2 accounts with his own name, one for his stores, one for his private, where he give a low feedback to Diction. We can take the person here. He have give 5 stars to Sven, 1 star to Diction. And the person have actually only made 2 reviews on Google. And that's the same here, and the same here. And then I start to investigate. There's also a track to a lawyer. The lawyer Diction use, and a private detective. We have a user here that have given negative feedback to the lawyer, a good feedback to Sven, negative feedback to the private detective bureau, and a negative feedback to Diction. The funny thing is, this detective bureau have answered all the negative feedback.
Ilona Christ is not a client and is completely unknown to us. If this is actually a natural person, it was used by Appelt, see rating Sven Appelt rubber, to give a fake rating that is detrimental to business. 6 in total.
Oh, it's Sven again. Oh, it's Sven again. Oh, it's Sven again. Oh, this here is SAR Berlin. Oh, this here is Sven. This here is Sven. This here is Sven. That's the answer from the private detective bureau. And it's a similar answer that actually come from the lawyer. Oh, it's Sven. Oh, it's Sven, it's Sven, it's Sven. The lawyer have actually uploaded a lot of documents from the court in Berlin to show that what Sven write over here is not correct. You can also see, again, Sven Appelt rubber. So again, Sven use 2 profile. He cannot just accept to leave 1 feedback. No. 2 goes up to Sven. Actually, there are 1 more. Because Sven have begun to trade something called X-rubber. When you look on Instagram, you can see it is Sven that are behind X-rubber. And X-rubber also made a fake feedback to the lawyer. Meanwhile, X-rubber give a good feedback to Sven. And yeah, here 1 more company that are Sven's give him feedback. And then there are some family. So when we count how much of those fake, it's not everyone. All you see here is the fake one. How many of those have Sven made by himself to his own business? This one, 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 this one. That's a lot. And you out there, you maybe don't think about it when you Google rubber latex in Berlin. See, oh, he have a good score, so let's go to him instead of the store here. But who is responsible for that low score? The ex-partner, Sven Rubber, SAR Berlin. I begin to calculate what is the chance for this here is actually real, because of course it can be real. For 2 days ago, a friend in Netherlands placed a negative score on Sven's store, and he wrote that to me, and I said to him, I will guarantee you that within a few hours a positive feedback will show up. And yes, I was right. Actually, 4 more show up at Sven. 4 more positive feedback. The 3 of them, again made on a whole new Google account that only have give 1 review. And I start to calculate what is the chance for this here actually can happen. But before I can calculate, I need a number of how many users that only have placed 1 review on Google do a store normal get. And I found out that 5.3% of the feedback the Gear store have got come from 1 single review Google account. 5.3%. For black style, the number is 8.9, Mr. B 3.2, Boner Store is 9, Prinz Knicht 6.2, and Butcherei is 3. So, out of that we can conclude that it is maximum 10%. We now know 10% as a maximum. But how does it look like when it comes to Sven? All of these are feedback given to Sven from an account that only have made one review on Google. Or feedback given by Sven to himself. Or account that only have made feedback to the other companies where they attack. Meanwhile, they of course give Sven a good review. And those accounts that only have given one review on Google, positive feedback to Sven, it is 57.1. Normally, maximum 10. Those accounts where Sven is behind is 15. Those accounts that attack the other companies is 20%. So totally it is 92.1%. And if we minus those 10% margin for one review user, it gives 82.1% of what you see here. Minimum is fake. And now you maybe wonder, why? Of course, he wants to hide that people are not satisfied. And with a higher score, you get placed higher. And if you, in the same time, with the same user, give a similar store a negative feedback, they will be placed lower. And that's the problem. That's exactly the problem. Why blaming other people and not just run your own business? That's not fair. And when you read all those feedback, it's written in the same way, the same language. When you read at Robert Diction, many of those feedbacks include the name Alexander. Some also include his last name. And many people that go to Robert Diction don't learn that the guy behind Robert Diction is named Alexander. And if they learn something, they will learn he's called Alex. And not so many again know his last name. Remember, he don't go with a name tag on, so that's really clear. In some of those feedback that are given to Robert Diction are also describe the production facilities. And the production facilities is not in the store, but is on an external place. And normal customer cannot come there. I have asked Google for how can it be possible that you just can open an account without validate your information and do it a lot of times just for making one feedback to your own store. Google have not went back. A friend write to me, this here looks really similar. Why? On my Instagram I ask people if somebody knew that guy that was model on this picture, and I got a name back. And I asked him, did you make those pictures for Sven Robber or Robert Diction? And he write back to me, Robert Diction. So I can only come up with that conclusion that this here is a big scam. I will nearly call it the biggest in the whole fetish community. Because when you take pictures from another store, meanwhile you give them a bad rating. You give yourself a really good rating, many of them from your own accounts. You lower the price on that product you take from another company. You confuse customer okay, I can get the product here the same, cheaper, and the company have a higher rating than the other. That's a big scam. And it's so unfair for all those companies that end up in trouble because of one person. Sven, Appelt, rubber, latex fashion store. I will let the lawyer get the last comment. On his Google feedback account, you can see a lot of documents from the court in Berlin, where you can see he have to pay lots of money. So maybe that's why people don't get the things in time. If they get them, maybe that's why I not have get full fee paid back. I have also get a comment, and will that be the last words from me? Would you please say to people they should go to Google and give SAR Berlin 1 star. And give Robert Dixon 5 star. Now Sven have lower their rating. No, I will not say that. Thank you for watching.
Mr. Appelt is lying. It is an uncomfortable truth that people in today's digital world are at the mercy of other people. You are forced to respond to insults and unfounded falsehoods in order to protect yourself. A deserted and insolvent tries to take revenge. Out of self-interest alone, I wish the reviewer to come to himself, reflect on his life anew, and look the truth in the eye. He still has a long life ahead of him and should deal with reality instead of chasing after any fixed ideas and blaming others for his misery. He gets lost with it. I wish him that he will come to and leave me, my client, the SAR Berlin, and possibly other troubled people satisfied.